And next we have City of the Dead, The Alchemist, book number 1, written by Vasily Mahenko. It is 425 pages, $3.99. It is available on Kindle Unlimited, and here's the author's description. There are whole anthologies of stories out there about what humankind does when a game enters their world. But what about when you're living in one where a game arrived thousands of years before? What if they're the survivors of a bloody struggle, having fought for and earned their place on the planet? Tailyn Vlashich was a young nobody far away from those grander issues. All he cared about was one thing: making his way through a harsh world where the Emperor, evil foes, and an impartial god held sway. And the god, of course, demanded nothing less than all the things were done according with its divine will. Okay, full disclosure, I received advance copy for review. I purchased a copy when it became available. This is a story where a fantasy world has inherited RPG mechanics. The world is so used to the RPG rules that it's become part of the culture, so much so that you can give your child bonuses by sacrificing money and lives, though there are other dark consequences to doing so. The novel description, to me at least, doesn't really do a good job of telling you what this story is about. It's a great story. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed everything that the author has written before. And so I'm going to give you like a little slight synopsis of kind of the beginning of the story, just to kind of tell you what it's about. After a series of tragic events, a father tries to give his last infant son an advantage in a world where stats mean everything. The main character is given a huge plus 32 bonus by his father, who sacrificed not only every gold coin he's been able to save, but also his life. The main character will grow up as an orphan, but he will have that advantage at least. Time skip to when the main character is 10 years old. He's not treated well by the town and considered a good for nothing, even though he does his best to help out. Another series of events lands the kid in several harrowing circumstances. I know I'm being intentionally vague. I don't want to spoil the plot for you. But he comes out of it with an RPG advantage that will change the course of his life. There's a lot of good world building in the story in the first half of this novel, and at about the 50% mark, you actually get a ton of action that doesn't stop until like the end of the story. Like there's a seriously like, oh, this is definitely getting more actiony. I enjoyed that personally. And of course, there are traditional Vasily Mahenko twists along the way to the end of the story. On the game mechanic side of things, there are going to be some things that are familiar here to you, and other things that are unique to this particular storyline in this particular series. The RPG mechanics in this world are inherently woven into the culture. I think the novel description mentions that the game world arrived on this planet thousands of years ago. So for thousands of years, the notification boxes, the stats and mechanics have all had a chance to evolve along with the cultures, and so they've inherently become part of it. So much so that people refer to the being who controls all the stats and stuff, or the notifications and quest lines, as the god, who sees all and rewards all with notifications and quests rewards. And the main character's progression in this series on a game mechanic level really kind of reminds me of the Underdog series by another Russian author, where an orphan with an inability to level gets other rewards and boosts his potential power. I'm not going to spoil exactly how that happens, because this one's a little bit different than that other series. But other things in this game mechanic side, on the RPG systems that are a little more original, that are unique to the storyline, is that spells aren't cast with magic phrases necessarily, or like inherent, class powers, but instead are cast via rechargeable cards, with a limited number of cards in a particular combat deck being available to the caster. So there's kind of a card building deck vibe to the magic system in the story, which I thought was kind of neat. The skill system and ability system is also powered by rare resources and quest rewards, and there is a social kind of law system associated with those rare resources, meaning that they're supposed to be sent to the king, and if you don't, there's a heavy death penalty associated with it. So like there are these choices the main characters to make, which that was kind of neat in making the game mechanics again inherently important to the culture and backstory and the world building of this world. So good stuff there. And again, about 50% mark into the story, you're going to see small connections to another series that the author wrote, and I'm not going to spoil it for you, see if you can figure it out on your own. Overall, it's actually a great story that I really enjoy. I read it in one sitting. I stayed up until like 3 a.m. to finish it off. and I had a great time with it. So it gets a score of 8 out of 10 for me. That's City of the Dead, The Alchemist, book number 1, with a score of 8 out of 10. Some great reading.